A lot of people have been talking lately about the prospect of the Rings of Power being cancelled, given how huge the ratings drop has been between seasons 1 and 2, and how expensive the show is to make. Incidentally, are there any bookies out there taking odds? I'm just interested. Well, I stand by my prediction, although I wouldn't be surprised if the show does get cancelled. I think that the show will likely continue for a third season at least, albeit with a smaller budget. It makes logical sense. It's the most expensive TV show ever, and it's getting the same viewership numbers as shows with a fraction of its budget. But I think Amazon, and perhaps Jeff Bezos, have made a commitment with Rings of Power. There's a determination there to continue the project, and I think we should consider a few things. Firstly, this article is from GameSpot from August 29th, 2022. So this is over 2 years ago, and just before the first season of the show was about to air. The article says, Jeff Bezos says Lord of the Rings of Power, is a responsibility, not all about making money. I hope we do Tolkien's work justice, the founder of Amazon says. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos has commented on the Lord of the Rings of Power, saying in a new interview that he hopes the show does J.R.R. Tolkien's work justice. It's not all about making money, he said. Middle-earth is such a beloved world, and telling the story of the forging of the Rings of Power is a privilege and a responsibility. I hope we do Tolkien's work justice, he told Time. It goes beyond making a commercially successful show. Everyone working on the show read these stories as kids, and our hearts are in it. The Rings of Power is a very expensive TV series, considered by some estimates to be the costliest TV show ever made. Amazon reportedly paid $250 million for the rights alone, before $468 million in production costs for the first season, Time reported. In addition to these fees, Amazon aired a Rings of Power ad during this year's Super Bowl at a cost of about $13 million, the report said. Bezos, who is said to be a big fan of the fantasy genre, was reportedly personally involved in Amazon's negotiations years ago to acquire the Lord of the Rings rights. Bezos stepped down as CEO of Amazon last year and is now the company's executive chairman of the board. Well, that certainly puts things into an interesting light, doesn't it? If we consider that the show is something that Bezos has a personal interest in, beyond making money, then there's nothing to suggest that the ratings decline and huge financial cost of the show would deter the studio from plowing ahead with their 5-season plan. My question is, are the powers that be willing to allow Rings of Power to be a loss leader if it means that they get to complete their project? Are they willing to basically allow the show to fail financially? This next article is from Forbes, dated September 11th, 2024. More bad news for Rings of Power as Amazon reveals sharp viewership decline from Season 1. This week, Amazon finally revealed viewing numbers for the first 4 episodes of The Lord of the Rings of Power Season 2 on Prime Video. This represents the first half of the season, with just 4 more episodes remaining. According to Amazon, Season 2 has reached 40 million viewers in 11 days. But what this means exactly is a bit harder to say. As Variety reports, it's difficult to put that stat in full context, as Amazon has not defined how it quantifies its viewership. For example, 40 million could simply be the number of people who watched any portion of the available episodes. The publication notes that while we don't have a clear definition of what a viewer actually means, we do have some comparisons to go by. Namely, Season 1 of Rings of Power reached 25 million viewers in just one day, when just the first 2 episodes were released. Clearly, this represents a massive decline in viewer numbers season over season. Well, even putting aside the ratings drop-off between the first 2 seasons, is the studio willing to soldier on with a show that has quite a few lukewarm reviews even from critics and less support from the Lord of the Rings fan base? A retooling of the show for its 3rd season is of course entirely possible, but if the studio follows Bezos' thinking, as he said, it goes beyond making a commercially successful show, maybe they're willing to accept the substantial ratings decline. This next article is dated September 12th, 2024, and it's from IGN. The Lord of the Rings of Power, still reportedly on track for 5 seasons despite ratings decline. Prime Video isn't giving up on its big fantasy epic. The Lord of the Rings of Power fans can breathe a sigh of relief, it seems. Prime Video is reportedly still committed to its 5-season plan for the series. Yay! The news comes via a new report in THR, which details some of the headaches facing both Rings of Power and House of the Dragon currently. Those headaches include reports about a dip in viewership for the Rings of Power, but THR's new article says that after seeing the Season 2 numbers, Prime Video remains committed to the show's original 5-season plan. The show hasn't been officially renewed yet, although Prime Video announced in February that writing had begun on Season 3. Well, writing is one thing. Shooting, on the other hand, that's a different matter entirely. Let's wait and see. Anyway, guys, just a few things to consider there. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please share this video, subscribe, hit that like button. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.